This is the Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast hosted by me, Kelly Donahue-Piro. This show is for growing agencies looking to maximize their biggest investment, their people. We mash up our 3-minute videos from the previous week, all with tips on how to be ridiculously amazing at insurance sales, retention, processes, marketing, running an agency, and time management. If you want them daily, like us on social media as they're posted. But let's get started. All right, this was a short week with Labor Day, but we still brought some value to you guys on how to handle rate and how to stop fearing it. I see all the time that, account managers in particular need to put their shoulders back, head high, and have the conversation. And instead, we do a lot of things in agencies that hold back our potential, cause more work, and don't ultimately satisfy the client. And that's why I felt it was so important to have some time to talk about rate and insurance in general. It's going to change. Rates are always going to change. And our role is to be the tour guide. We didn't cause the rate, either carrier or negative activity by the client did. So let's take a moment and have a few strategies on how we can handle rate a lot better and with a lot less stress in agencies. So I think that this is really critical when we talk about, don't shop with your own back pocket. It's not your money. And so we need to divorce our own feelings about rate. In fact, I had a mentor once that said, imagine everybody wearing designer jeans, $8 Starbucks in hand, nails done in a fancy watch, as they're telling you their story about rates. And it worked because I was like, I don't know what's in your bank account. So we don't need to kind of go into all these details about it. Instead, what we do need to do, though, is spend some time understanding and literally taking a deep breath and saying, I know what my role is here. And sometimes it's to tell the story of rate, and sometimes it's to help you find a plan, but you can't get emotionally involved. It's not your money and it's not your insurance. Your job is to be their agent, not their therapist. And in this video, we break down exactly what that means. So this week, short week with Labor Day, hope everybody had a great day off yesterday. We're going to talk all about how our own perception of price poisons our clients. And I use that very dramatically because I do think that sometimes we can poison our clients. We think too much about price. We make a lot of assumptions. We have a lot of anxiety around price. And so what ends up happening is, by no fault of our own, we transfer those emotions onto clients. And I see this happen a lot. And there's a couple reasons why I see this happen. In today's video, we're going to talk about we think with our own back pocket, not the customers. So I like to say to people all the time about insurance rate, we didn't cause it, we didn't create it, we are simply the tour guide. So if a client has a DUI, you didn't cause that rate. If the carrier takes a rate increase, you didn't cause that either. But a lot of times we look at an insurance price and be like, oh my goodness, if that was me, I would be very upset, or I would struggle to pay a $300 rate increase. And I want to say that that's the wrong way to think about it. And the reason I think that is wrong is because we need to stay price neutral. We need to get good at having conversations about price and rate, but we also need to keep our own emotions out of it. I'm going to tell you a quick story. At the agency that I had a renewal review done and my rate went up $500. Now, it went for $500 because my husband had some infractions on his record. I was completely expecting it. We have 3 very nice new vehicles. We're in Rhode Island, which tends to be a very high state. And so it is what it is. And when the person came on the phone to do the renewal review, it was, I shopped you. I'm so sorry. I was like, what are we sorry about? My husband had speeding tickets and we have 3 very nice new vehicles. I kind of was expecting it was going to go up. And she kept apologizing. And I shopped all the carriers. I was like, no, don't worry about it. Now you might be thinking, oh, Kelly, that's you. It's not just me. There are plenty of people in your agency that don't call in at all when their rates go up. You're just thinking about the particularly nasty, grumpy ones that take up all of our time. And I want to say this, what ends up happening is the frequent flyers that our agency deals with all the time, unfortunately takes up our time and poisons our mindset for all the people that take rate increases and we never hear from. So we have to divorce ourselves from thinking with our own back pocket. We are not paying that premium. We have to identify our role, and our role is to be their tour guide. As concerns happen, we need to evaluate a plan. And at the end of the day, if we do this and we get a little proactive, like we're going to talk about in the next video this week about value versus price, we can definitely win the rate game. But the first thing is we have to divorce ourselves from feelings on rates. And that's our 3-minute video today. What we find in many instances is that rate sensitivity runs rampant in an agency when there's no other source of value. You're not doing birthday cards or thank you notes or renewal review calls. It's literally, or even claims calls. It's literally, you call for service, you get it. Well, people over time then wane and get a little itchy about the value that they're getting. When you proactively nurture your customers, you are going to see a huge increase in your opportunity, and you're also going to see people show their value. When clients are feeling loved, the love bucket is high. When clients are feeling ignored and they just get called whenever there's a problem, or they call you because something's happening and maybe that service goes okay, they only can judge you on price because we're not actually giving them anything else to judge us on. You know, if a transactional call comes in and it's fine, that's not really an opportunity to judge anybody. So I think it's incredibly critical we think about price versus value. And in this video, I talk a lot about how you're worth more if you can deliver value. Agencies not delivering value have a harder road to go. So listen to this video on how you can develop value and drive value so that you can stay away from the price game. All right, so we're gonna keep talking about our fear of insurance rates that happens all the time. And you might not catch yourself doing this, you might not be thinking that you are, but all of us have a little head trash about insurance rates. Now, what we wanna talk about today is value versus price, okay? And I can tell you flat out that most people in America are incredibly interested, not just in getting the cheapest of everything. There's a reason why Starbucks sells $7 coffees and doesn't seem to be in any financial difficulty around it, okay? When we get into a situation about value, we see why we're spending the money that we are on something. If clients want to have the cheapest insurance, an independent agent probably isn't the way to go. For many of us, we're not going to put them in state minimums. And at the end of the day, we want to get them the right coverage. People make assumptions and they make decisions based on price when they don't understand the value. And insurance is incredibly complicated, okay? So it's not uncommon for people to lean on price because they don't understand it. That is our job, is to go ahead and educate. And I want to say this because I think it's incredibly important for everybody to hear. I think you're worth paying more for. But I can't think that independently. You have to think that. You have to believe that you and your agency are so good that it's worth paying more for. Going back to Starbucks, they believe that they're so good that the gas station $1 coffee or the Dunkin' Donuts $2, $3 coffee is nothing compared to what they have. And so you have to align that and get rid of the idea that people only care about price and they don't care about you. They will care about you if you have a defined service model, a process, a strategy, and exact moments where you are going ahead and you are demonstrating value. But if you're just changing a vehicle, you're not showing value. If you're just taking a payment, you're not showing value. Value is an investment of time in education and guiding the client. And so people will go ahead and treat you like a price tag if you're not giving them anything else. And you can't just give them the other stuff when it's convenient for you. When it's a full moon and it's Taco Tuesday and the person is nice, we have to do it consistently every single day because we have a product that people don't typically enjoy, is complicated, and that means that we have to be consistent in showing our value. And that's how we get around price. We'll see you in our video tomorrow on how to overcome the anxiety and dread of talking about price. So if you're enjoying our videos, I want to say a few things to you. First of all, thank you for supporting us. We don't have any sponsors for videos. We do this all to give back to the insurance community and make sure that you have tools in your agency. And if you're loving our videos and thinking to yourself, man, my agency needs this mentality that Kelly's talking about, then I want to share with you the fact that we only have a few more spots in our agency performance program. I personally only work with 20 agencies. We made that decision in January and we are already over 11 sold. So it's a 2-year program, which means we only have a few spots, and I completely anticipate that by the end of the year, all those spots will be taken up. And so what I don't want you to do is miss out. So if your agency has over 10 team members in personal lines and small commercial, we are a good fit for you. We're going to come in and work on everything from renewal review calls to an agency assessment to set the organizational structure right, have accountability and job descriptions and incentives. And we're also going to do sales training and we're going to do time management. So basically, we're going to come in and install our processes into your agency over 2 years. You might be thinking 2 years, that's crazy, but that's how long it takes. So if your agency is loving this, it's time to set up a time to talk because I don't want you to miss out. If not, we're going to get a wait list together and you might have to wait a bit of time, but your success is too important. So reach out to us today and schedule a time. If your agency doesn't fit those qualifications, we still have you. We've got our videos, we've got our online school, and we have our process packs. The online school is the exact content that we use live with agencies. The only difference is you don't have a coach like me, but it's a good starting point. So if you're interested, contact us today. We can't wait to hear from you. So for many agents, we've found that they get a lot of anxiety about having the conversations about rate. In fact, they scramble around, do a lot of work. As opposed to having a conversation, they want to say, I fixed it, here you go. Please don't be mad at me about the rate. And that's where we see feelings come into play. And we need to really focus on divorcing ourselves from the emotion on rate. You know, when my oil company doesn't call me up or the gas company doesn't call me up and say, I'm sorry, your gas rates went up. No, they say, deal with it. And we have to kind of say that we could take a softer approach to it, but we should reduce the anxiety around it. It is nothing more than a phone call. And if you're doing it proactively, you're their insurance superhero. You're saying, I saw this, let's talk about it, let's figure out a plan. People get much calmer. When they've seen the rate and they're calling you, it's an entirely different situation because you're not proactive. You're not showing your value. So we encourage everybody on these strategies we're going to give you on how to decrease the anxiety about talking about rates so that you can increase your opportunity to wow your customers. All right, we're coming down to our third video on this short Labor Day week about price. And I find a lot of times that we put off having a conversation about price and rates. And that's because in our head, we've worked ourselves up so much about what the client's going to say, how they're going to react, what are we going to do, that we see a couple side effects of this. One, we put that phone call off. Then the client calls us. I'm going to tell you 100% that's the worst strategy. In our time management program, we talk about eat the frog. If you have something difficult to do, your best bet is to just do it right off the rip, first thing that morning, because you need to get it out of the way. When the client calls you, you're at a disadvantage because they're calling you. They're spicy, they're frustrated, they've gotten themselves all worked up. When you call them, you're at an advantage because you have a plan and you're there showing them your value, which is what we talked about yesterday. So don't put it off. Now, 2, I see a lot of agencies that get themselves worked up and they want to remarket before having a conversation. I strongly encourage agencies to stop that right now. You will end up doing a lot of reshops with a low conversion rate because you won't get all of them on the phone. Second, your number one goal should be updating that account to find discounts that you can apply and get the best information. That account was written 5 years ago. There will be changes that need to happen and there will be updates. And it's our job to gather those before we do a remarket. A lot of times we do the remarket because we dread the conversation. Either we haven't been trained in it, we aren't certain how it works. So we want to come on that call with a reason. Let me tell you what I've done.
No, you want to get on that call and say, I've seen this happen, and I want to go over a few things with you so we can get your plan in action. Let me make sure we have everything up to date. Can you talk to the client? You build that rapport. Otherwise, we are literally just making it about price. We are literally just saying, the only value I have is finding you cheaper insurance, not educating you, not reviewing it, not getting updates. And by the way, if you're not going to review it with them, and you go out to market and you don't know that they have a new roof, great news. You're going to be at a disadvantage no matter what. And if they call another agency, they're going to find that information pretty darn quickly. And your quote's not going to look good. So do not remarket before talking to somebody. We don't have time for that in insurance, and it's actually hurting the client. All it's doing is giving you a little reason to have a different phone call that's maybe slightly less difficult, but it's not in the long run. You're actually doing your client a disservice. So go through a bit of discomfort to get to a better place. What you'll find is you'll limit remarketing dramatically when you review accounts with people. The last thing I want to say to you about the dread is ask yourself, are these feelings or facts? Do you know, swearing on a stack of Bibles, how this client's going to respond? Absolutely not. So your worry is borrowing a problem from the future. And what that does is it drains your energy and it demotivates you, and it doesn't make you have like a ridiculously amazing day. So you need to go into it with a deep breath, shoulders back, remembering your role. Your role is to talk to the person and build the plan. And under no uncertain circumstance are you ever to apologize for rate. You did not cause it. You apologize when you make a mistake of something that you have completely done on your own accord. So these are our tips to stop dreading the rate conversation. And if you put them into practice, you will see that you'll have a much easier go at it. I would like to just say that, our mashup is going to go over a few more details on this. So keep moving and keep trucking, everybody. And at the end of the day, you can master having these conversations about rate. All right, everyone, that's our recap with our videos for this week, short week. So we only had a few, but I feel like it was a really impactful one that I hope that you share with your team, because mentality on rate and mindset on rate will change everything in your agency. And don't forget, we still have our agency performance program. So if you're an agency that fits, we'd love to talk to you. If you would like to deal with rate, we actually have a whole online course just on how to handle rate. You can subscribe in our online school, or you can buy the course outright on our store. So we hope you take a look at that. But enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.